If you're not getting everything you want, sometimes people say, well, burn it down. It's not right. And
that's not right.
It's not. But there's a good chunk here in Utah who are doing that right now, who are telling us like, hey, if it's not a perfect bill, if it doesn't have the exact language that I want, or it's not doing everything I'd like it to, then scrap it. And let me give you an example of this that really divided conservatives 2 years ago, which was the school choice bill. Okay, school choice can go a couple different directions. What it really should be is a tax credit, because then there's no strings. It's you do what you want. It truly is a freedom to teach and homeschool your kids how you'd like. But that's not realistic. That wouldn't pass. And so the next best alternative, which is what we did, was Representative Perucci's scholarship bill, which was to give parents the option to take money and let it follow the child. That even meant private school if you wanted, which in my opinion, everyone pays into the system. Let the money follow the child.
That is the best way to do it, is to have the money follow the child.
Correct.
The state budgets certain amount of money per student. That money should follow.
I agree.
I tell me how you guys are fighting in the Senate, but I also like to know how you're fighting with the teachers unions.
Well, yeah. So anyway, my point with that bill was we had a lot of conservatives who were not happy that it wasn't a tax credit. So they just said, no, we don't want the bill. So I said, well, your solution is to do nothing, which is the status quo working, and it's not. Like, even if it's 60% of what you want, take it. Take the win. Take the W, and we'll build on that. As long as the legislature's got mostly Republicans, we can build.
Yeah,
right?
Take the base hit. Don't try to go for the home run.
Correct. And come to the table and let's talk. But even if they're not willing to talk, if they're not willing to negotiate and compromise on certain parts of it, well, they're going to get nothing. And we might get nothing either if they don't help us. So that's an interesting side. And, speaking of unions, they'll never agree with anything we want. I mean, we're the bad guys on every single issue, you name it. So we ran a great bill this last session to end collective bargaining with public entities, which really included the teachers union. And there's only one fire and police department in the entire state, Salt Lake, who did collective bargaining. Collective bargaining with public entities is wrong. In fact, Trump's going to end it at the federal level. Private unions can do whatever they want. That's fine. But when we're footing the bill, they shouldn't get final say for their employees. So what that means is if a school district had collective bargaining and you're a teacher and you go to your administration and say, hey, I'd like to negotiate my pay or my benefits, they would have to say, sorry, we have a collective bargaining agreement with the union that they're the only ones allowed to negotiate the terms of that. So you've cut out the voices of anyone who's not part of the union or isn't in leadership of the union making those decisions. Well, the state of Utah the last 10 years has given, on average, an 8% increase to education every single year for the last 10 years. It's 56%, head and tails above anything else in the state of Utah. We have committed to giving money and the tools necessary to help education and teachers. That's not the union. That's the legislature. Union only cares about themselves and, quite frankly, a lot of their administrators, and not the students. They do nothing for students. So we ban collective bargaining. And what that means is it gives, and which we're not banning unions, just make that very clear. We're banning the ability to give them the sole ability to decide and negotiate the terms of deals with the state.
That's not what they're portraying.
Yeah, of course, right? Because they know. And a couple other things we did in the bill. The other one was their fees, if you're a part of the union, their fees are automatically deducted. We stopped that. So you have to reinstitute your fee.
So does it make it so each teacher can dictate where their fees go? Or because a lot of times, a lot of unions, they take it from you no matter what. And if they're going Democrat, you're going Democrat, whether you want to or not.
So it's their automatic deduction from their paycheck. Now they have to sign up and give the money. They can't just automatically have it. Much better, right? The other thing is, I don't know if you guys knew this, but for the last 30 years, we've been paying retirement packages, state retirement, to those who work in the unions. The teachers' unions, employees of the unions, not teachers anymore or administrators, we've been giving them state retirement.
How long has that been going on?
Almost 30 years.
30 years?
We cut that out of the bill. So we cut that out completely.
It's like Doge in Utah right here.
There you go, right? So they're not happy about that, right? And their argument was, well, what if I was a teacher? Because most of them were in the public education sphere at one point, and then they moved over, and they wanted to keep their benefits. We grandfathered anyone in who's been doing it, but if it's new and you're going to jump over and work for the union, it's cut off. You don't get state benefits anymore if you're part of a separate entity.